What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larson. Welcome back to the Your Final Offer Summit, where I'm asking marketing experts what their final offer would be if they could not work in a very short period of time. I'm very excited and honored to have on with me today one of the best funnel builders that is actually on this planet, and it was incredibly successful, has a full agency around it, and has been amazing at it. Two Comma Club ex-winner, which y'all can see in the background is there also. Bryan Dulaney runs a company called Bryan Dulaney with the Perfect Funnel System. And he does exactly that, and he's amazing at it and makes others very successful and their dreams come true. Bryan, thanks for being on the summit, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I love this concept. So I'm super excited about our conversation today.
You're crazy successful. You're very busy. Seriously, though, thanks for taking the time. And for those people who may not know really what you do, could you just let them know?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're like a full service agency where we do everything from, building the offers and building the funnels and then getting everything ready to then launch. And then when you launch it, how do you take it and bring it to the world in a big way and like scale it fast, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I love going fast. And so that's what we do. We're full service. We do everything from branding to video production to development of the offers and the funnels and all that fun stuff. But then we also bring it to life.
That's so awesome. And yeah, man, like your agency is huge. It's big time. And you also were in the top 10 of the Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Russell Brunson KBB launch recently, right?
Oh yeah, that was so much fun.
You killed it.
Yeah, we sold over 500 units in like 2 weeks at $2,000 a pop. And that's really, it's the power of like really good marketing plus a really good offer,
Yeah.
right? With legends like Tony, Dean, and Russell, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of easy to promote something that with those guys at the forefront of it, right?
Totally, yeah. Well, hey, so the prompt being of this whole summit, can't work in 90 days. What would your final offer be, and how would you launch it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking about this with my wife, and so we're just kind of rattling our brain through what would it be that we would create, right? And so what I told her is I said, well, number one, I'd have a goal of doing a launch. So building a course. So here's what we do. We build a course that takes all of our wisdom, knowledge, experience, and the results that we've created for others. So we take all of that, put it into a course. Okay.
Mm.
And on top of that, we would we would combine it with software to make it easy for people to implement.
Interesting.
Okay? So course plus software, right? And it would all be about marketing and selling online and offline. So one of the keys to my success, over the last decade has been combining selling online, but also selling offline.
Mm.
And what that means is it could be a phone call with a person, or it could be an event, or it's just offline. Any offline realm. I mean, even your cell phone, like someone talking on the phone is an offline conversation, right? But normally, like for me and for all of our, partners that we serve, it's like, it all starts online because the digital landscape is amazing. Like,
yeah.
I don't have to go to networking events. Like, that's silly. I haven't gone to a networking event for business in like over a decade.
Right.
It's just the power of the internet. It's amazing, right? We can just put stuff out and it'll track the people that we want to work with. So we were thinking about it, and I was like, I actually have never put all of our wisdom and knowledge, if you will, of how we do that. And we put it into a course, plus have software to help people execute that, right?
Interesting. What do you mean by that? What kind of like software would?
It wouldn't be like ClickFunnels because that already exists.
Right.
But it would be around selling. So it would be around helping the people sell from a perspective of, how do you manage your leads? How do you manage the lead flow throughout the entire process of being online and then offline? It would encompass like our scripts, our way of selling. Like our way of selling, just to give you kind of a high level look at it, is it's thought leader based and it's value add based, right? Like I'm totally against pushy and like abrasive and aggressive, like with the plague. Like it's like, that's so bad. Right. And so I've never led that way. And my whole team, like the way we communicate, I say it's the way we communicate and sell is value first, offer second. right? Value first, offer second, right? So when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, in order to fund the rest of my life, what would I need to be like? What would I need to do? Right. And so I looked at that and I said, okay, well, I would need 10 million in cash, right? So I need 10 million in cash liquid after taxes.
Right.
Okay? Then I'd stick that cash into an investment vehicle that we stick our cash into that earns 6 to 8% on that interest on that money annually. Right. Okay. Which gives about 600 to 800,000 a year after taxes, which is more than enough to live on.
Right.
Right. Like it doesn't matter if you're living in San Diego or you're living in Missouri.
You're going to make, that's fine. That's good living.
Right? Like, that's great. Right. And remember, it's tax free. It's on interest on the money. Right. So it's like, yeah. So anyway, so like that'd be kind of the goal. But beyond that, it would be funding my life, but it would also have to fund my family's life, right? Like we have a little daughter on the way. Cool. We want to have more kids too. So it would have to fund my life, but it would also have to fund her life and then his life and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. So what kind of like price points would you think would make sense for a course plus software kind of combo?
So I would do like traditional product launch style. And we do it at the traditional $2,000 a piece, be able to give affiliates, that like $1,000 sale.
Yeah.
Just like, just kind of like how Dean did it with his launch.
Sure.
It was a really successful model because affiliates can get behind something where they have $1,000. Right.
That's a lot of cash.
Yeah. That's a lot. Like you can botch your marketing and still make that work.
Yeah. You can.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I would price it out. But there would have a subscription fee after year one. So everyone would get the software for free, and then there would be continuity on the software in year 2, year 3, year 4. So year one's like free, like basically 1 year free.
Sure.
Right.
Subscription. Okay. Year after. Taking notes.
Yeah.
So really similar to how ClickFunnels has exploded off that model. That's awesome. Who would be the target for this?
So my market for this would be anyone who's an expert. So 2 buckets: experts, meaning coaches, consultants, authors, speakers. Like our entire selling process and systems that we develop for others fits within that avatar, if you will.
Okay.
Also, it would be agencies. So a lot of agencies come to us too, to kind of learn what we're doing and kind of pick our brain and like help them develop out their offers. So it'd be for them as well. So it'd be those would be the 2 primary candidates. Like it wouldn't be for anyone who's in e-commerce. Like that wouldn't be a good fit.
E-com's not. Okay.
E-com's not the market, but it would be for anyone who's a thought leader or an expert or who has knowledge that they want to pass on. Right.
Sure.
We're calling that anyone who wants to create, build and like build a legacy, if you will.
Sure.
Right. They want to pass on something, not just money financially, but like they have knowledge and wisdom that they've accumulated over the years that they want to pass on.
It's a really cool angle. Because then you get the field gets behind it as well. And then the software that helps pull that all off and actually launch it. That's awesome. What would you do to keep this kind of low management on your side? Because software is not exactly a small thing, and info on its own is its own beast too.
Yeah. So for sure. So the one thing that I identified that I would need to do is put a full-blown JV manager in place.
Sure.
To manage all the affiliates. Now that would need to be in place like before the launch even happened, right? Like, because that's so there's 2 parts of launching it. Number 1 is like big product launch. The way I would hit it would be, I want to sell 25,000 units. So that would be the kind of the benchmark.
Right.
But in order to do that, we'd kind of pull a Dean and leverage someone like Tony, or like even someone like maybe Will Smith or John Paul DeJorio or John Maxwell, or someone just legendary that we could pull into the association that adds value to the conversation of what we're doing. Does that make sense?
No, it really does. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like we already have enough credibility and expertise and results, but everyone and their brother knows Will Smith. right? Like he's legend, and he's a boss in business, and he's he cares about legacy. You think about like John Paul DeJorio. He owns Paul Mitchell and a bunch of other brands. He's a billionaire, and it's like, or even Richard Branson, like someone like Richard Branson, right? Like epic business entrepreneur, visionary, and then bringing someone like him to the table to talk about mindset or leadership or culture, right? Like that would be his wheelhouse, like, because he's got one of the best cultures in the world.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have him come and talk about something totally different, right? Like not directly related to our expertise and our especially. And then we tie that into the affiliate game where the affiliates get to hang out with Richard at his island that we pay for a mastermind or something, which is normally like 50 grand for the week or something. So It's like a huge high value. Everyone wants to hang out with Richard Branson. I sure would love to.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And when we launch it, everyone sees Richard Branson first. Right? It's like they see this because he's the star, he's a celebrity, he's got global recognition, and he's a massive disruptor of marketing. Like he's brilliant when it comes to marketing, right? Like I'm sure you've studied Richard Branson, the stunts he's pulled. If you haven't, like, you should read some of the stuff he's done. He's done some crazy things. If you read his autobiography, he's done some crazy stuff that you're like, it just makes you think like, how can I pull off something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, in this scenario, I mean, there's a limited amount of time. You obviously, you've done so well positioning your own self and like getting known by these huge people already. I mean, you're a master at that. It's its own skill set right there. Yeah. But in this scenario, you have a short amount of time. How do you gain someone to come do that with you?
I'd pull out all the stops and just call people that I know.
Sure.
So for the last 13 years, I've been building relational equity with people. And, we're only, what, 3 degrees of separation, right?
Sure.
So I know that we could create all of the content. We can create the production. The probably a little bit of the challenge would be the software. We'd have to have like a developer that would create the software super fast. Like that would be the slowest thing would be the software.
Right.
That makes sense.
But it's also deliverable maybe after the sale too. So.
Right. The biggest unknown for me is like the course can be created. The launch can be pulled off in 90 days or less for sure.
Definitely.
And then getting someone like any of those names that I mentioned, I'm confident we could pull in one of them, especially if it's tied maybe potentially to a nonprofit that they own. Right? Like, so I would be really mindful of thinking about what's in it for them, right? Because they're not just gonna be like, hey, Richard's not like, hey, I got all this free time on my hands. Let's go hang. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's fascinating. So what you'd be handing to them as far as value add would be a lot more of the sales message of legacy building is that kind of what you would approach them as value add for them?
Exactly. And helping thought leaders to think through what their legacy is and how, and what it is that they're going to, pass on to future generations. Like Napoleon Hill, right? Like everybody knows Napoleon Hill because he wrote Think and Grow Rich, and that's his legacy. Right? If you go even further back, you go Jesus, his legacy, the disciples, their legacy, like all the disciples have an epic legacy, right? So it's like, what is our legacy going to be and what are we going to pass on, not just to our family, but to future generations? And I believe people like Maxwell, Tony, Richard Branson, like they'd get behind that concept because they're like getting to the end of their careers as well. Some of these guys. Like John Maxwell and like Zig's gone now, but like Brian Tracy, like some of these guys are getting to the peak of their career and they have to pass the torch at this point, or their legacy is not going to be, it's not going to last as long as it could potentially. Right.
Interesting, cool card to play like that. Start targeting those kinds of people, pull out the stops that way. That's fascinating. And so, I mean, creating the info products, like that's not altogether that crazy. I mean, you and I have done that many times, but the software piece, you're going to go find some kind of software aspects to help them implement the buyers of this. And the focus of the course then, is it to help people create funnels, like the things that you're doing?
No, it would really be about, to me, it would be about them bringing whatever it is that they have to offer
Gotcha.
online and then be able to scale offline. So what we do a lot is like the reason why we're able to hit like multiple 8-figure clubs is like the reason why that's been able to be shrunk down and be able to be accelerated so fast is because, when we sell, let's say a book, right? The book's like $10, right? There's not really a lot of money in that. A course is even $2,000. Yeah, $1,000 goes to an affiliate, but like $1,000 is not a ton of money.
Right.
What you're looking at is you're normally looking at what else is there. So I would put a coaching program in place, like a 10K coaching program in place.
Yeah.
Like just do some of the math, like 25,000 members, even if only 2,500 members took that offer, right?
Awesome.
That's 25 million. That's 75 million total. Plus only if half of those members recruit annually, that's 1.2 million a month after year one, right? That's say that 50% just drop off, right? Now, I already have a coaching team in place. So I would just bring them in so that they would just fulfill what they're already fulfilling.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would also need a CEO to run the show. So I would need, I need a CEO to run the show who understands digital marketing and selling online and offline like we have. So it'd be someone that is specialized, has specialized knowledge and experience. And then I'd also need to bring in a highly trained expert product developer who's in our industry, right? Who can basically innovate the product and make the product better as the market changes. Like basically accommodate market change, right? Because like the landscape changes over the years, right? Like what we were doing today, we weren't doing 5 years ago.
Right.
Or even 3 years ago, right? Like things evolve and change, right? I mean, even like 20, 30 years ago, let's say 30 years ago, the internet didn't even exist.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy to think.
It's kind of crazy.
So I would bring in the CEO to be like run as function as me. So they'd have to be, paid well. And then also a highly trained like expert product developer to basically to continue to innovate the product to basically make sure that it's the best, like basically make sure that it's getting results for people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So your answer to the whole thing, so I have a course plus software. The topic of it is helping people bring their expertise to sell online but scale offline.
Right.
Massive. You want to hit the $10 million target so you can get a 6% interest, so that you can put it in a 6% interest vehicle, live off of that. It's awesome. No one's ever brought that together yet. You're going to focus on experts and agencies to do this. And then for your team, got to have your coaches bring them in, CEO, JV manager, a product developer to accommodate market shifts.
Yeah.
And then partner with like a huge someone who is like the face of it and leads the charge, basically.
Totally. Yeah. And what that does, like I saw Dean do it. So like Dean like leapfrogged his reputation in the market by literally just his association with Tony.
Huh.
And I was like, ding, ding, like light bulb. Right. And about a year ago, I was at Dream 100 and you were there too with Dana, and Myron said we're in the relational age, like we're in the age of the relationships, or partnerships. I forget which one. Sorry, Myron.
One of those.
One of those, right? And so it's like, I had a vision about a year ago that we like lock arms and charged forward together in business and in the marketplace.
Yeah.
As like we're stronger together, right? As we move forward. And so that's what this is. It's really like bringing someone in who already has a lot of relational equity, but also like people understand who that person is in the market and they respect that person's value. So that person's value is instantly associated and up levels. Like not more people know who Richard Branson is than they know who, we are, or, like Richard Branson is just like iconic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thanks so much. An epic answer. Really, really exciting, honestly. Where can people find out more about you and follow you? Yeah,
I would say like BryanDulaney.com or PerfectFunnelSystem.com. Those are two great places to find more about me. build out a new website right now for BryanDulaney.com. So I'm super excited about that.
It's awesome, man. Super cool. Go check out Bryan Dulaney, everybody. Follow everything he does. He's brilliant. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah. Awesome.